Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that everything you thought you were isn't actually you. The relationships, the beliefs, the ambitions, the little routines that gave you comfort. Suddenly, they don't make sense anymore. Instead of clarity, you feel lost. Instead of freedom, you feel like your world is falling apart. Awakening is often painted as light, bliss, and instant peace. But the truth, awakening, at least in its rawest form, feels like losing everything. And yet, that very loss is the doorway to the greatest win you could ever imagine. Today, we're diving deep into why awakening feels like collapse, why it strips you down to nothing, and how in that very nothingness, you discover your true self. Part 1. The Myth of Awakening. Let's start with the myth that most people carry, that awakening is this beautiful, serene, Instagram-worthy state where you're constantly glowing, smiling, meditating by waterfalls, and levitating over yoga mats. The myth says if you just meditate enough, journal enough, or manifest enough, awakening will crown you with bliss. But here's the reality. Real awakening often feels like dying. Not physically, but psychologically. Awakening dismantles. It pulls the rug out from under the illusion of who you thought you were. And when those illusions crumble, you're left with emptiness, uncertainty, and the terrifying sense that you've lost your identity. It's not a spa day for the soul, it's demolition. Think about it. If you've built your whole life on certain ideas, I am my career, I am my success, I am my relationships, I am my thoughts, and awakening whispers, none of that is really you. Of course it feels like a loss, because in a way it is. Part 2. The Death of the Old Self. There's an ancient metaphor that fits perfectly here. The caterpillar. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly by slapping on wings and saying, "Look, I'm awakened." The caterpillar literally dissolves inside its cocoon. It becomes a soup of formlessness before reorganizing into something entirely new. That in-between stage, that's awakening. The death of the old self is not glamorous. You lose attachments. Relationships may shift or even end. Your sense of purpose might collapse. You start questioning things you once defended to the grave. You realize that beliefs you clung to were borrowed, not born. It feels like grief. And in a way, you're grieving the death of who you thought you were. Part 3. Why loss is necessary. So why does awakening strip us down like this? Why not just hand us peace directly? Here's the secret. You can't awaken into truth while still clutching the false. Imagine trying to climb a mountain with a backpack stuffed with bricks. Awakening is the process of realizing you don't need that backpack. But in order to climb freely, you first have to let it go. The loss, then, isn't punishment, it's purification. Think of it like clearing a forest after a wildfire. At first it looks like devastation. But what's really happening? The ground is being made fertile for new life. When the illusions burn away, what's left is raw soil where truth can grow. Part 4. The Ego's Panic. Of course, the ego doesn't like this. The ego thrives on identity, on story, on being somebody. When awakening starts pulling the pieces away, the ego panics. It will tell you, you're losing everything. You're failing. You'll be left with nothing. But notice the trick. Who is the one afraid of being nothing? The very illusion you're outgrowing. The fear belongs to the ego, not to your deeper self. Your true self has never been threatened. Awakening, then, feels like death to the ego, but to the soul, it's birth. Part 5. Embracing the Void. Now here's where many people get stuck. After the breakdown, after the losses, there's a stage often called the void. It's that empty space where you don't know who you are, where you belong, or what's next. It's uncomfortable. Our culture tells us to fill that space instantly with distractions, with new goals, with a rebound relationship, with anything that keeps us from feeling the emptiness. But the void is sacred. The void is the womb of becoming. It's in that stillness, that emptiness, where your true self begins to reveal itself. If you can sit in that nothingness without rushing to fill it, you'll discover the peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. This is why ancient mystics and sages often withdrew into silence, caves, deserts. They weren't running from life. They were resting in the void, letting the false burn away so the real could emerge. Part 6, the secret win. So here's the paradox. Awakening feels like losing everything. And yet, when the dust settles, you realize you've only lost what was never truly yours to begin with. The stories, the masks, the roles, the borrowed beliefs, gone. What remains is the one thing you can never lose, your true self. This is the secret win. When you have nothing left to cling to, you discover the freedom of not needing to cling. You realize you are the ground you've been searching for. You are the presence underneath the personality. You are the awareness that never comes and never goes. And suddenly life looks different. Relationships are no longer based on need, but on genuine connection. Work is no longer about proving worth, but about expressing truth. Even suffering shifts. It's not about escaping pain, but about seeing through it. You realize you're not the storm, you're the sky that holds it. Power Part 7, Practical Wisdom for the Journey. So how do you navigate awakening when it feels like collapse? Here are some reminders. 1. Don't rush the process. Just like you can't force a caterpillar to become a butterfly overnight, you can't shortcut the dissolution of the old self. Be patient with the unraveling. 2. Feel the grief. Awakening means letting go of identities and attachments. Grieve them, honor them, but don't cling to them. 3. Stay present. The mind will want to rebuild a new story instantly. Instead, rest in the present moment. Ask, what is here right now? 4. Find stillness. Meditation, silence, time in nature. These are not escapes, but doorways to experiencing your deeper self beyond thought. 5. Trust the void. When nothing makes sense, remember, emptiness is not the end, it's the beginning. 6. Connect with others on the path. Awakening can feel lonely, but countless others are walking it. Community helps. Awakening is not about becoming something new. It's about losing what you're not. It's about letting the illusions fall so that the truth of who you are can shine through. And yes, it will feel like loss. It will feel like death. But on the other side, you'll realize it was the greatest gift, the freedom to simply be. So if you're in the middle of it, if it feels like everything is crumbling, take heart. You are not being destroyed. You are being revealed. And that, my friend, is the secret win. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might be going through their own awakening. Leave a comment about your own journey, because your story might just be the light for someone else in the dark. And if you want more deep dives into spirituality, consciousness, and personal transformation, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Because remember, sometimes losing everything is the only way to find what really matters.